All right, welcome everybody. We're excited to get going. We're going to be talking about chaos to consistency, how AI is rewriting hiring and automotive. This is going to be a fun one. We invited Kat to join us. Kat, how are you?
I'm great, Gabe. Thanks for having me. How are you today?
Yeah, this is going to be great. Kat and I go way back now. It's been a whole 6 months probably, but Kat,
Longer, about a year, 9 months almost, actually. Yeah.
yeah, so Kat's currently the COO at a company called Promotive, doing some really cool stuff in the hiring space and trying to push the boundaries on the way that we've typically thought about the way we basically hire and source candidates. And so, Kat, thanks so much for joining. Want to get into kind of the talk track here in just a minute, but tell us about yourself real fast. Kind of how did you get to Promotive?
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for joining those of you who are out there. We really appreciate it. I joined Promotive from at the very beginning. So I met our co-founder, Lisa, who is a total entrepreneur at heart. I met her when she sold her first company. And before that, I was in technology, operations, finance at a larger company. And then I went into private equity, met Lisa. And when it was time to build this, I thought, like, I've done this a million times in M&A. Who better to build it than me, and do it with somebody I really love to work with, and we have a ton of fun, and
Super cool.
yeah. So I,
Super
I
cool.
love my job. I love what I do. Yeah,
Yeah, and to your point, Lisa's such a rock star.
for
You two
sure.
make quite the dynamic duo. Um, cool. Well, yeah, let's dive in a little bit. I mentioned Promotive, and you were just kind of starting down that path, but maybe do the double click. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about kind of the background, the why, what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to show some slides just to guide the conversation, but of course, happy to pull these down and get
Love it.
more conversational
Love it.
as needed. But so we started Promotive with the idea that we really want to serve the workforce that keeps our global economy running. Um, Lisa and I had both been in the automotive aftermarket industry before, and so we found that there, we were kind of continuing to come across the same problem over and over. But this industry knowledge really gave us, a lot of insight into what was going on. What we try to do for the industry, for the automotive aftermarket, is to provide recruiting and technology services to support the automotive aftermarket, just like traditional kind of white
Yeah.
collar
Yeah.
employees. We want to support kind of this blue collar industry and these blue collar, so to speak, employees in the same way. Our core belief is these employees are critical infrastructure. When we can't get our vehicles fixed, when trucks can't be fixed and get on the road,
It's just a game
when it,
changer. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
So cool.
plumbers, HVAC, like it, we think that there's a real challenge here. And the news says all the time that trade industries, right? The trade industries. It's not just about the trade industry, but these are community members, right? These are the people who are sponsoring
Yeah.
your kids' t-ball team.
Yeah.
These are the people that are, going to the local play on Friday night. They've got kids in high school. So it's just more than that. And we really believe that this industry is super special. It's a huge part of life in the US. I've got a link down there for some really staggering automotive aftermarket statistics. There are about
Fascinating. Fascinating.
just a million techs in the industry, and that's just like one fraction. We've got parts, we've got, I mean, it's just ripple effects everywhere, and we really want to serve this industry. We want it to grow and thrive, and also continue along, this technology kind of revolution that's happening, and not be left behind. So
I
this is
love it. I
for
love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
what a fascinating space to kind of get into, and to your point, with all the talk of AI, I mean, these kind of services industries, for your example, are becoming more and more valuable, predominant, relevant, but the challenges still persist. So I wouldn't mind going there next, like, and you were,
yeah.
again, just touching on it briefly, but what was broken? I mean, to your point, it's like, hey, I just call up, I just drop my car off and it gets fixed. I don't see a problem here, but I think behind the scenes, something else is going on, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, if you drive by your local, Joe at Joe's garage, right? Joe's probably possibly was a technician. His dad might have been a technician. He worked in shops. Like, he's now a business owner. Like, is his best thing to do recruiting, or is his best thing to focus on, running the business and making sure the cars are leaving without any repair issues and making sure the technicians are doing their job? And so we saw this gap with, how do we get these people successful? How do we get these business owners more successful and get them focused on what they should be doing? And we can fit that. And you're right, it's a huge flywheel. Like, you don't just drop your car off. If they don't have enough technicians, they can't actually even fix your car. If they don't have a service advisor to talk to you about what it's going to cost, if they don't
Mm.
do those things, then they can't order parts. And your local Snap-on guy, like, he's the parts guy, right? Like, this is a huge impact in the industry,
Fascinating.
And if we don't figure out how to really get more efficient and more effective, we're gonna get stuck.
So one more click on that. So what actually I mean, outside of you guys, again, I'm thinking of my local automotive,
Sure.
parts dealership technician. And yeah, I mean, it seems like they're an entrepreneur by heart, but they're trying to manage, or they're not even an entrepreneur. I mean, the guy, he loves cars so much, but he is trying to run this business. And now what he has is payments, and he's got all these challenges.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3 or 4 bays over here.
Yeah.
Guys, probably technicians working in those bays. And I don't even know how he hires them. Like, how would he do it right now without you guys? What does that look like?
Yeah, so this kind of category is fairly new, I'd say, in the industry, right? There have been a couple of players who have tried to get into recruiting. And again, in technology, this is like the norm, right? It's LinkedIn and you get hit
Yeah,
up and all of
yeah,
that, right? It's
yeah.
not the same out there. And the technicians, they are on social media, but they're not on Indeed, right? I mean, on LinkedIn. Like, LinkedIn doesn't serve them. And so,
Totally.
where is the ecosystem of these candidates? So we go everywhere. We go to Indeed, we go to ZipRecruiter, we go to Facebook, we go to Instagram.
Ah,
We put kind of
yeah.
our feelers out on every single one of those, in every single one of those places, to try to get our brand and attract candidates and let them know we really want to be your Jerry Maguire, right? We really do. It's not just about show you the money, but like, how about the culture, and how about the benefits, and how about, the guy who
Mm.
gives you an appropriate amount of vacation and pays you on time and your check clears, right? There are things like that that we believe that these employees deserve, and they have been underserved. And so that's where we're really filling the gap. And from a business owner perspective, like, it takes so much practice to be good at hiring and good at HR and to sniff out the shenanigans and all of that, right? It takes a lot of work. And again, like, they're super good at ordering parts, and they're really good at
Yes,
diagnosing vehicles, and they're really
yeah.
good at calling BS on whether that technician really can do the thing. But like, doing the job postings and scanning through the candidates, and the guy who's applying for an A technician, but he's only ever worked at Taco Bell, like, we appreciate you wanting to get in the industry, but the A technician job's probably not for you, right? So
Yeah.
we've got to,
Oh,
like,
wow.
so we kind of
Wow.
fill that space and try to remove all of that from our shop owners, and then really make a connection. So, like, love connection, a little Tinder, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, we would really like to just make those connections, and we are moving to a place where, AI and technologies are really helping us to, like, broaden how we serve the
How
market.
you do that. Got it,
Yeah,
got it. Okay,
yeah,
so, yeah, I wanna go there
yeah,
next, but just to make sure I
yeah.
understand. So, yeah, yeah, I mean, at the moment, it is really manual. I mean, if I'm a shop owner, I have to go to Indeed, I have to create the job posting, I've gotta
I
do
have
that,
to
but
hope I have to hope that when somebody applies to that job, that I'm not dealing with the customer in the store, because by the
yeah,
time I get back to that guy, he's already applied to 7 other jobs
7
who are
others.
also desperate to
Wow.
get a technician, right?
So what are some of those, so speed really matters, the challenge of,
Mhm.
just interviewing matters, like that's a big challenge that you're trying to potentially overcome.
Yep.
The timing that it takes, just the manual effort that these guys are trying to kind of all put it together and actually have it. So you're coming in, and what would you say are the 3 or 4 things you guys then are doing? So you're getting the speed to interview immediately, you're actually creating the job posting. So you're removing all the manual labor, and
Yep.
then you're doing actually the interview slash matchmaking. Therefore, if I'm an owner, I'm really getting 3 or 4 candidates that I can choose from, and basically, and then
Yep.
I bring them in. Is that kind of the idea?
Yep, that's exactly it. So, we've got a million points of data on this, but it's something to the tune of, we need 14 phone calls in order to get one candidate converted and
Ooh,
placed, right?
ooh,
And
ouch.
so we've got, we've got a lot of work and human work that happens right now to chase that candidate. You applied 3 hours ago to where are you now? They applied on
Yeah.
their lunch hour and now it's 6 p.m. And then they're ready to have a conversation because they can't talk tomorrow because they're back at their job and
Mm.
off hours. Like there are a lot of
A lot of
challenges that
chasing then. I didn't
yeah,
realize. So there's a
yeah,
lot of chasing as
tons of
well.
chasing. I mean, it's humans, right? Like this is like the
Time.
crux of
Yeah.
that human connection and and we don't believe that we can abandon that human connection,
Mm.
but we think that there's a ton of opportunity. We're seeing, a ton of results and opportunity from the opportunity of like really
Streamlining
digging
this all,
and
right? Yeah.
digging into like where does the human matter versus where does it not matter? Where is it just data? And we
And
just need
that
to
that is such a maybe hit that because I think one of the things, and I want to get into some of you guys are so future forward, I think with tech and AI, but how have you kind of balanced that? Because that's a question people always say, like, where is the human? Where's the technology? So how have
yeah.
you guys kind of tackled that or recommended it to some of these shop owners?
Yeah, gosh, this is like we could go for hours on this topic, but the way that we are really thinking about our business is like our job is to solve this problem for our customer. And let's even narrow the problem really narrow, which is I have a job opening and I need to attract people to that job opening. Somehow I need to connect those two things, right? So if you get there, you have to figure out like how much humanity really matters in the basics of that. And
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is there's not a ton of humanity that matters. The things that matter are, does the person on both sides of that, the shop owner and the candidate, understand what it is that they're reading, applying for, et cetera?
Yeah.
So a human should probably, even if it's reviewing, a human should say, yeah, that makes sense. The
Hmm.
wording makes sense, et cetera.
Okay.
So we should have some kind of evaluation of those things. But once we've done it 50 times, can we not do it 50, 100, 1,000 more and just kind of replicate that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in lots of those areas, we find a human isn't that important.
Hmm.
And then what we've done is we've moved the humans to the places that really are important. So continuing to, evaluate those lower levels, and we will get into, I'm sure, in a little bit, the kind of feedback loop and things
Yeah.
like that, how important those
Yeah.
are. But but really like focusing the humans on where is it hard, where is that friction, and how can we like better understand where that friction is, and are there bits of that that we can get better at and automate. And it's been like little bits at a
Fascinating.
time. It's been like this little automation and then this little automation,
Totally.
this little
Totally.
automation that's grown
And
to
that's so cool to hear you guys kind of break down the process like that and try to figure out, how do you find, because I think that was always the goal of technology, like how do you take away some of the quote unquote mundane so that you can be more people oriented rather than just shove people at every single problem and just have people sprawl everywhere. So maybe hit on some of that. You were kind of walking through it, but a little bit of the technology and then AI, you guys are starting to think through that. How has that started to play a role in that process of balancing people and tech?
so that we are at a really interesting point in our company where we've been building this very people driven business,
Yeah.
where we've relied on humans to do every phone call, every pre-screen, every interview prep, every follow-up. Literally, we have had humans doing all of this for all this time.
Yeah.
And we've gotten better using the standard, which by the way, like standard integrations and data movement, there's so much value just in doing those things, even pre-AI conversations, right? Like,
Right.
so we did
Like,
a
what would
lot
be
of
an
that.
example? What would be like one example there that you were like, guys, game changing just to get this connected to that or something?
Yeah, I mean, just the ability to like record calls and get a transcript.
Yeah. Yeah.
And take that transcript from the voice software that it was sitting in to put it in a place where the manager can see what happened on the transcript or to listen
Mm.
to it or things
Mm.
like really basic things like that. But you know most people who are building software out there would say, oh yeah, of course we integrate everything, sure you do, right? But like we did last year, we did, I don't know, well over a 500,000 kind of buckets of integrations. And we have one technical resource, but those 500,000 touches are touches that our team didn't have to do, right? They moved data or they moved candidates or they did a lot of
Fascinating.
automation.
Yeah,
Um,
fascinating.
so lean into those things. And then the next thing that we started to try to understand was like, well, where are recruiters, the humans just doing things over and over again that are not interesting, not value add, et cetera. And really, we talked to you guys, we had talked to some other people, but that's where we really started to think about like, AI is out there, call it AI, but like all these software tools are out there. People are using them.
Yeah.
Why not like try some alternate channels? Like, would they text with somebody?
Hmm.
There is a large software company that sold last year to an even larger software company that is in the like AI recruiting and tech, like they do mostly text-based recruiting. I
Yeah.
mean, I think they sold for $1 billion or something, right? Like there's a huge
Mark.
opportunity for
Yeah.
this meet people where they are situation. And so we, again, you and I both agree, Lisa's super entrepreneurial. She is a force to be reckoned with. And she's also super curious and she's willing to try anything. Um, and we try, like we fail all the time because we just try so much stuff. And what we did was we said, like, we got feedback from our recruiters and we said, hey, a lot of these, basic interviews, our recruiters are spending time and they're not applying any real thought.
Fascinating.
It's the same thing over and over. So how can we like just move that off? And we were talking, I don't know, I think our average pre-screen call was like 27 minutes per recruiter.
Wow.
Yeah. And now we're doing 200, like our AI recruiter is doing 200 a week of those.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
And been able to take, and what's been the thought process? I mean, the experience of the candidate or the recruiters, because again, is when people hear that, they're like, oh no, you're replacing recruiters. But it sounds like when you sat down with recruiters, they were actually like, this would be great to take off my plate.
Oh my gosh, they are, we call our virtual recruiter, she's our first one in automotive. We call her Paige. We definitely like whatever the word is, anthropomorphize her.
Yeah.
We definitely apply human traits to her, even though she is not human. But they are so grateful. They love it. They're like, yes, I don't have to, again, the person who wants to be in the industry, who used to work at Taco Bell, and like, we want you to come and interview. We want you to call Paige. We want you to interview. We want to know
Mm.
at some point if you're in, maybe there's a shop that just wants somebody who's hungry and wants to do training,
Yeah,
right?
cool.
Like that's fine. But that's not where we want to spend our human time. We want our humans to be talking to that master technician who has, 25 years in the industry and is going for a specific job or in a specific, you know, income range. That's where we should be spending our human time to like get to where that friction
Fascinating.
is.
Fascinating. So
So
you've now done, you just hit some of the numbers, but the 30-minute interviews, you're almost replacing a lot of that quote unquote basic screen time. So
yeah.
now 15 to 30-minute time. And you're doing hundreds of those. Did I hear that right? Hundreds?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd have to look at what our average call time is with our virtual recruiter. It's way less than 27 minutes, right? When you get human to human, right, our 30-minute talk becomes 35 minutes or 37 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So the times are much more reduced, but we have found that last month alone we placed 11 placements that their first interaction with the company, besides the initial application, was to do a virtual screening, and we were able to focus our recruiters on those who had already invested some of the time to actually like go through the process
Oh, this
and
is
all that.
such a great use case for AI, right?
Yeah.
Find something that's maybe not optimal and let your people do the more optimal stuff. What has been the experience of candidates? I mean, or even the experience of others kind of playing around with this? Because I think that's also one of the scary
Mhm.
parts for people. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to talk to AI, or nobody wants to talk to AI. I bet that. How have people reacted to it? How have you guys reacted to it? What's been kind of that engagement?
So internally, we are, we are creative and we are curious and we try things and we fail and we just have a culture of that. And we tell people when they're coming on board with us, like we want the right people on the bus. We'll figure out everybody's seat. There's enough work to go around. So like, don't ever worry that AI is like going to replace the work. Um, and I think the quote that I sent you also alludes to something like that. I'll
Yeah,
find it. But we'll come back to that. Externally, we've had really great feedback. So
really.
candidate, like they can call anytime they want to. And we actually measure how many call like in the, wee hours of the morning and things like that. They have said good night to Paige. They say thank you. She has handled some not nice people in a very nice way. And so, yeah, I mean, I think overall the candidate experience has been pretty positive. We do a ton, ton of call reviews, call
Yeah, I
feedback.
love that.
It's
I love that.
super important. It is the only way for people to trust us is if we trust ourselves, and we can only trust ourselves by really investing the time and the energy to do all that call recording
Testing and
and
optimizing it.
call
Yeah.
and really like listening. What is the candidate experience, right?
Mm,
Listen, are you like raising your eyebrows at what she said? If you are, you need to go and you need to like
double
massage your
click and
prompt,
change
and
it.
you need
Yeah.
to, go hone it.
Well,
So
that would be kind of, I'd love to go there next,
yeah,
having gone through this, whole process. And to your point, you got some battle wounds, you got some scars, but you have some successes.
yeah.
What advice would you kind of pass to those who are looking to potentially optimize some of their hiring processes using more technology? You just ended with this idea of, don't shove something kind of in front of somebody that you wouldn't want to experience yourself, almost like the golden rule there. So that might be one, but other things come to mind, like lessons learned as you've tried to get, AI into hiring.
Yeah, I mean, we just started, right? We
Yeah.
just started, right? Whether it's in hiring or wherever, right? People are willing to adopt. I mean, the broader technology ecosystem has shown that people are willing to use something if they find value in it. And
Yeah.
so making sure that you understand the value is really important. So we're going to be transferring that value from what used to be human work and tasks to, our virtual recruiter was able to get the same or a better, by the way, better often outcome than our recruiter. There were no biases in that. The summary is
Yeah.
really good, right? Now, again, we have to listen and make sure
Yeah.
there are no
Yeah.
biases, but like we have the value of literally tens of thousands of interviews we've already done and tens of thousands of phone calls we've already done that we can feed and use to train one capability. Like the scope and the span and the opportunity of that is huge. And some of our customers we're bringing along for the journey, and we're teaching them, you actually get it better and faster. Just because a human didn't do it doesn't mean it's not the same
Yeah. So
outcome.
there's some education that's
There's
needed
a
at
lot,
times.
yeah, there's
Yep.
a lot of
Yep.
education.
I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
like
Love it.
why can I trust this, right? There's a lot of why can I trust this? Why can I believe this, etc. But for those, I think who are really willing to like go and try it and get on the edge, I think there's a huge opportunity to expand who you can serve. And yes, like all the expand to, make your company worth more and expand to do the fact is, like, if you're not providing value to the market you're serving, it's all the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So as long as you're focused on serving, value into your market, then
Makes it
AI can help you. Regular software and technology can help you. Like there are all sorts of things can help you, but
cool.
don't be scared of this
Cool.
one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. All right. Well, we have a handful of questions. I don't
Yeah,
know if we'll be able to get to all these, but we're
okay.
live on a couple different channels here. So let me just hit one. You mentioned mostly automotive, but this question from Carol basically says, do you feel like that type of process can work across industries? Specifically, where do you see AI not being able to play a role in hiring, and where can it and where can it not?
Yeah, Carol, 100% agree with you. This applies, in my opinion, to all industries.
Really?
Yeah, it really does, right? I think that, a first entry point in nearly everything we do today is a digital entry point, right? Banking, it's not who's walking into a bank and having a human experience for their first
Yeah,
entry
good
point. They're
point.
going into a digital lobby and they're doing a digital experience. And then if they need an escalation, they go to a human. I'd say, again, this is where for us, our niche is in this industry because we know it. This is where trust matters, right? We
Yeah.
can't just take our virtual recruiter and apply her to collision. Totally different, totally
Mm.
different questions, totally different outcomes,
Sure.
totally different everything. So it's the general statement applies, Carol, but I'd say the specificity of returning value is where you've got to get thoughtful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good one. I like this. This is kind of a funny one. I think it's I might be saying this wrong, but I think it's Genevieve, but she said, you mentioned Paige is the name. Where did, of this AI, employee, where did Paige come from, or how did you guys come up with Paige? It's fun one there, but quick thoughts on that one.
Yeah, well, Jen, who is Lisa's wife, came up with Paige. She's a creative, and she's come up with all of our logos and all that good stuff. But we have thoughts of lots of things, right? We've talked about, well, old employees that we really liked. What about an Amy? What about a Josh? Or what about, all sorts of names. So we think there's a lot of opportunity to have fun with it and to, right, she's kind of part of our team. Like, we train her like a team member and all that. So why not?
Do you, because that was kind of the second part to the question. That's why I wanted to pull this one out, is just, do you feel like that's the right thing to do to kind of humanize these, agents or bots, is kind of she framing here? Or, is it better just to have them be like tool, tech or bots? So what's your take on that? It sounds like you guys have had some fun with it. Do you feel like that's okay, or is that a little weird? But I think that's a fair question from Genevieve.
Yeah, that's super fair. And we go back and forth, right? Some people give me the high eye when I talk about Paige as a teammate. I think if you're clear with your users, and we are very clear when someone speaks to Paige. She says, I am virtual, I'm digital,
Got it.
not a human.
We actually have 2 or 3 questions about that. You guys
Yep.
have kind of gone that route and said,
we've been very direct to say, I'm not a human, but you can talk to me like a human, and I should talk to you like a human. So she kind of prefaces with that. And so I, in particular, and our technology kind of team is really, it's really important for us to be transparent about that and make sure people understand what to expect.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that was a handful of questions from people. Yeah, that disclosed it. And it sounds like you guys have found that to be optimal. So, okay. Well, we look to kind of wrap our time. A few more questions. We'll try to answer those after or send you notes on it, but we do want to be conscientious of everybody's time. Kat, it was awesome to have you. If we hit a bunch of different stuff, I do want to get that maybe just last leave behind. We summarize, we hit all these things. As people kind of start on this journey, what would be that leave behind you'd give them, is kind of optimizing their hiring process with technology, specifically AI?
Yeah, I would say don't be a doubter. Humans are capable of like really incredible things and adapting and adopting lots of things. So don't think that taking the human out of it is actually taking the empathy out of it or the compassion out of it or any of the rest of it. It's just changing the dynamic of a transaction. And I think that you can redirect that humanity into the places that it really can be more impactful. So just don't be scared, and don't think people won't talk to a bot or to an agent. They will. And I think you can get really incredible outcomes and maybe better outcomes than you're getting today. So
super cool.
Yeah.
All right. So if someone wants to learn a little more about Promotive or connect with you, what's the best way to do that, Kat?
Please go to gopromotive.com, www.gopromotive.com. We would love to learn about you, have you learn about us, and follow us on all of our socials.
Cool. All righty. Well, again, appreciate you taking the time. For the audience. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks. Have a good one. Thanks, Gabe.